Full disclosure, news and commentary number 89. Oh boy, 89, 89, 89, 89. And I believe Plist number 25. I'll have to confirm that before I put this up, but just know that's going to happen. This video is gonna take a minute because our commentary is a Plist about the top 10 takeaways from my weekend in Georgia. Yeah, it was a crap ton of fun. There's no doubt about it, but you're gonna get to hear all about it through the Plist and throughout the regular part of Full Disclosure. Let's get a couple things out of the way, as we always do. Patreon people, what can I say? You guys are the best. Getting to meet a whole bunch of you motherfuckers was amazing. It's D, and it's Dan, and it's Derek, and it's Diana. It's a whole lot of D. That's another story, maybe for Patreon. Joseph, Black, Justin, Brett and Brian and Larry, not that one, but the other one, Rod, and then of course, big, huge Mac Daddies, Eric the World Walker, the OG Myron, who I did not get to meet, unfortunately, but I got to meet Nick, and the people that gave me money for the trophies. I got big news on that front, really good news, really cool shit. Let's jump in. Let's talk about this unboxing. A couple of things have come in. But instead of opening those, I may open those on Christmas. I might do a big Christmas Day video again. In one sense, it's going to be impossible to top last year. I mean, receiving the gold green jacket was so huge. And so this year, what I've decided to do is all the things I get in from my P.O. box until Christmas, I'm going to just pile up. I might open one on the next Full Disclosure next week, but I'm just going to pile up the gifts, whatever I get in through the P.O. box, and then open them on Christmas Day. I thought that would just be fun. It'd be nice since everybody's so fucking generous and so nice. But I want to highlight for this unboxing the things that were given to me. Right? Simon gave me a bunch of food. I'm not going to cart that in. So that was super great. Super cool. Hankins hosting our get together to watch ICW and providing such great food was additionally amazing. I gotta make sure in case I forget. I don't want to forget to say those later as well as far as the Plist, but I want to highlight those here. Bailey, this motherfucker. Because he noticed how toe up my shoes were the last time we saw each other here in Florida. So this dude hooked me up. First of all, the Death Row underwear. What can you say? It's Death Row underwear. He had the fly Death Row socks Friday night, by the way. But this motherfucker got me pairs of shoes. First, he got me these. Those are great. Those are amazing. But these, I gotta say in particular, I have never had Air Jordans. Never had Air Jordans. You know, they've been putting out Air Jordans since motherfucking WrestleMania 1. And I done never had a pair of Jordans. And this motherfucker, oh, the smell of the new and the look of the new. So from now on, I have no excuse to not look anything but respectable. By the way, this was a shirt that somebody got me. Disobey. For around Christmas time last year. Because Gremlins, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Motherfucking Gremlins certainly is. But wait, there's more. Ox's boy, YJ, hooking me up. Ox said, I gave something to YJ to get to you. The dope ass Ox shirt. What can you say? Fucking rules. I'm going to try to remember to put the link below. If we can pile on, we've already gone over well over the $1,000 mark, which was the goal for Ox's thing. Can we get it to 1,500? I think we can. I think we should, and I think that's wonderful. So Ox hooked me up with that shirt. The Lynches hooked me up with this shirt. Official member of the Lynch Mob. Established in 1985. Here comes 1985 again, motherfuckers. Big ass year, apparently. Air Jordans, WrestleMania, Lynch is born. And then Gary Lamb, of course. The coolest. He let me pick whatever Southern Honor swag I wanted. So I picked this one. It's getting cold in Florida. And now I have one long sleeve shirt. I just generally don't have them. But that's fucking dope as shit. So thank you to everybody. Ooh, I gotta make sure my Lynch Mob underwear is in the proper pile over here. Super fucking cool. Let's jump into this shit. Oh, whoops. Those are old notes. Videos that I'm going to put out this week. Of course, you're going to get Raw. Of course, you're going to get fucking Dark, Dynamite, NXT. I'm going to give Impact another go. SmackDown. Fucking shit. Isn't TLC this week? God damn. So TLC as well. In addition to that, perhaps my most important, ice cream truck. Here's what I want. Somebody's entrance music to be as great of a Pavlovian response as the sound of the music of the ice cream truck. That's your challenge, guys. But so I'm going to put out my most important pro wrestlers handbook to date. I have another number of private videos, OnlyFans, Stephen Platinum, to send to people. So I'm going to be super fucking busy. But if there's anything that you want me to take a look at, anything you want me to do, just let me know. Just let me know. Okay, let's get into this. Shit, 8 minutes in just to cover all the freaking great shit people gave me and all the rest of that shit. Oh, Tipping Point, by the way, is going to be awesome. It reminds me that we're putting the logistics into place for the Georgia Wrestling History Awards because a shit ton of people asked me, we are not going to do anything as far as nominations and all of that shit until the entire year is done. So these shows that are taking place in December and stuff like AWE's, show of the year, like all that stuff's going to be in the mix. And then we're going to have a relatively short nomination process. And then we're going to have about 3 in each category, including the new categories. And at that point, and we've set up the logistics we set up a separate Facebook site for this so we can put all of the promos and matches of the year potentially in one place so people can listen to them, watch them, etc. It's going to be a fucking lot. And then Tipping Point's happening. I honestly can't remember for the life of me what exactly we're going to do, but we're going to do something. We'll get it done. All right. APW had a show on December 11th. 60 attended. Pro South did their thing. Again, they just appear that they are back on track and right in the nick of time because this Friday is their big show. Their chance to really flex and show off. In my opinion, Ace Haven has got himself back in the mix squarely for Booker of the Year. Southern Fried, by all accounts, had a great show at the Landmark. And so Todd has put himself in a good position for Booker. And then we're going to talk about Dylan in just a bit. Action had their thing, their Friday night deal, and then Bangers Only. Bangers Only. Going to talk about that more in the P list. And that show seemed really great. Larry, well, I'm going to talk about that in the P list part. Wrestle America did a show. Didn't hear anything about it. I know Simon Sermon was going to be a big part of it, and Simon and I, part of our big discussion, hanging out, having brunch, was talking about the thing he's doing with Eddie Honcho and the whole Twinkie bit that they did, and all of it sounds hysterical. Heritage, I know, had a show as well. We haven't gotten a report from that yet, but I hope they did great. Really rooting for those guys. Good stuff. And then Southern Violence had a show that I gotta admit, man, when they were telling me about it, it sounds awesome. I would have loved to go to that show, but I just couldn't be everywhere at once. I definitely got it in, as you're going to hear in this P list. You're going to be like, holy shit, Steve. Like, you got in a lot of shit in 2 fucking days. And managed to get in some side hustle work, by the way. No joke. No shit. I was busy as fuck and driving like crazy. And, but, you know, is everybody who was accommodating me, really. I really do wish I got out to Southern Violence. It just didn't happen. But they had a good house. Sounded like it was a great show. Southern Honor. Let's talk about it. So Southern Honor, they drew 250, 260. Rob Rod was there on the spot. It was really cool to see like where he camps out. Has his full nice laptop setup going on. He's taking the notes. If anyone wants to bitch about Rob Rod doing reports, fuck your mother. Right? Between him and Larry, they have covered so much shit. Rob Rod, unfortunately, wasn't able to attend Wrestle America, right? You know, the work gets in the way, people get sick, all that kind of stuff. But the work that Larry and Rob Rod are doing, I hope people really appreciate the work that's being done. And even Georgia Wrestling History, garnering, you know, definitely in the uptick as far as views and people coming to that site and looking at everybody's shit. It's all really good stuff. Southern Honor. So I got there 12:30 in the afternoon. I left fucking early. And I managed to stop at a couple places. I stopped at Buc-ee's and all that kind of stuff. But I still got there about 12:30. Gary Lamb, let me just say right off the rip. Incredible host. Incredibly cool to meet him. Fucking great dude. Like, it's one thing to... I think people often with Gary like want to name off his like positive features, right? Oh, he's very charming and he's, you know, blah, 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 blah. But I really got to go around the town with Gary. Like he was showing me shit that he was excited about, developments that were taking place. When we went to lunch, like it's no shit, man. Like maybe there are other people that have this similar relationship to the town that they're in, but I fucking doubt it. Like, you know, there wasn't a group of people sitting at a table who did not stop Gary and who he did not have a conversation with, who Gary didn't know all about, and they didn't know all about Gary. I mean, it was great. It was really great to see Gary in a bit of his element. Yeah. That building is phenomenal. That building, that catacomb of extra space that they have, where all the wrestlers are able to sort of click up and be in their own spaces. And then they have a second floor where they fucking shoot promos and all this kind of great shit. The Southern Honor show, the production is second to none. I know you've heard that before, but it is absolutely true. There's no one that's close. In fact, as somebody who went to the Impact tapings, TNA tapings at Universal Studios, all the way up until the time where they just about stopped doing them, I can say, especially in the last year or two of Impact, that Southern Honor has a better production and look of their place than motherfucking TNA Impact did. No joke. No hyperbole, no bullshit. And those videos are fucking phenomenal. The one for Joe Black, I was blown away. I fucking just took a picture of it just so I could remind myself of how fucking great it is. Right? The musical tracks, it all works. The lighting is pro. I mean, they use this thing as a church, and so it's got a bit of the mega churchy vibe. If that's not pro wrestling, I don't know what is, right? Lighting, sound, great look. The people that they have working on staff, the production people, V and other people that I met, all super great. I found myself like helping put up chairs just because I wanted to be fucking part of what was going on. And then meeting Dylan and his friends and other people that help with the production aspect and seeing Dylan set everything up. It was fucking awesome. It was awesome. And it made me really homesick. It made me really miss being a part of and running a wrestling show. Painful. Anybody who could tell you that saw me at this thing, I was like a fucking caged tiger. I could not stand still. It was me going in the back, me coming out, me watching some of the matches with Jeff, me going over to Rob, Rod, and Nick where they were, me fucking meeting people, me just catching things from different angles. After matches, me running back there to tell guys what I thought. Everybody being really open. A lot of this is going to be in the Plist too, so I'll just stop it there. Overall vibe of the show. You can read Rob Rod's report, right? gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com. Larry's also got something up there about action, right? My overall impressions of the show is I feel like I didn't get to see Southern Honor at their best as far as a show goes. I did definitely see the flavor of how close their crowd are to them. And I can only imagine once this COVID thing lifts and people are in that building in force, what that would sound like, because it was fucking loud. They're into the shit. They're dedicated to the shit. And then getting to meet a bunch of the boys. I'm going to cover more of that in my Plist, but my overall impressions of the show is I didn't see their best show by any stretch. And it was still worth going to. Now, keep in mind, I don't go to very many wrestling shows. And what I want is an experience at this point. I don't give a fuck about your flippity floppity. I just don't give a shit about things bell to bell as much as I do about overall atmosphere and overall vibe. And so that, in that sense, it was a great night to be there, because I think I really got a taste of how the boys interact and the vibe of the place and what a lockstep crew. I mentioned to them, and they probably thought I was fucking with them, that just their concessions alone, their concession stand selling the candy and hot dogs and hamburgers and all that shit, like just that was a cut above every other show. Their concession stands, I mean, their fucking gimmick tables, the thing that Andrew was running, it's just a cut above what everybody else is doing. The production was 5 cuts above, right? The talent levels for that show, from the greenest to the most experienced, was fucking awesome. And, you know, even getting to see Chip and Kyle do their thing on the same show where I get to see Cyrus fucking so fucking improved, so fucking confident, right? To getting to see Joe and Huck in the same place was super cool. Getting to see guys like Owen Knight, who I've never seen wrestle before. To David Ali get the title. To fucking Gunnar Miller, who, I mean, I'll just say it here. Like, he's never looked better. And he looked the most TV ready out of everybody. And I know that's going to put people's fucking panties out of joint. Sorry. You could put that guy in fucking WWE. You could put him in, certainly could put him in Impact. But you could put him in AEW or WWE tomorrow. And he does the things that are the most important for television. And getting to see the fucking Lynches wrestle. They're fucking great. And so, what can I say? My fucking experience at Southern Honor was everything I wanted it to be. And it really does feel like, in many ways, and this is going to chap people's ass too, it is the epicenter of fucking Georgia wrestling right now. It is. With that said, I think the feeling last year, 2019, was Southern Honor just knocked everybody else on their... Let me just fucking be honest. They knocked everybody on their fucking ass. And they knocked everybody out of their fucking complacency. And for some people, they withered. And others have risen. to the occasion. Some people have risen with the COVID thing as well. I think Southern violence is the most obvious example. But we also have had a quiet rebirth of anarchy. And I say quiet because when people talk about who are the biggest, who are the best, right? They go Southern honor, Southern violence, or Southern honor, Southern fried, action, and now Southern violence is in the discussion. And then you got to show KLT or BLT or whatever the fuck it is that's drawing 500. By the way, so much discussion happened about that show and people just not wanting to admit that those motherfuckers are drawing 500. Folks, let me make something crystal clear. They are drawing 500. I didn't say anything about the quality of the show or the quality of the talent on the show, but fucking give up the ghost about that. The second that you make this thing about numbers, which people insist on doing, then you have to accept that reality. But 2020, this is going to sound like an insult, but it is the opposite. The fact is, Southern Honor, throughout all of the calamities of COVID, I would say Southern Honor has suffered more than anybody else because of COVID, and they still managed to be the benchmark. Dylan is in a neck-and-neck race with Todd and with Ace Haven for Booker. Southern Honor, if they win Promotion of the Year again, and I would say they deserve it, but I would also say it's a much closer race than it was last year. Southern Fried can make an argument. Hell, I would argue that fucking Anarchy can make an argument. I think if Anarchy kills it on this fucking show, they are not only sort of back in the mix, they are clearly back in the A-list mix. I think also Larry was accurate when he said that Action has kind of suffered throughout the COVID thing as well, that the perception of them has like people are kind of, they're out of people's mind's eye. And the fact that they can only have 35 people in the crowd. And from what I heard, they didn't even draw 35, right? All those little things hurt you, but at the same time, they're doing great shit, and they're doing 2 shows at a clip. Yeah. So my overall experience at Southern Honor, of course, it was incredibly positive. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Gary and Dylan were so incredibly generous with me, not only in terms of giving me shit, not only in terms of Dylan allowing me to help with their fucking stand-ups at the end. And me getting to do that was not only thrilling for me and getting to exercise those chops of helping guys do their promos. And Jeff just going like, you go ahead and do it. That's something normally Jeff would do with them, but Jeff deferred and let me do it, but he's fucking Jeff, and Jeff and I are cool. I do love, by the way, that people still think Jeff and I hate each other. Holy fucking shit. I can't believe I ran into 2 people with Southern Honor when they saw me and Jeff standing next to each other watching from the back, that were like, holy shit, I should get a picture of this. Like their jaw dropped that they couldn't believe Jeff and I like were hanging out. You're going to hear much more about that as far as the little fucking soiree at Matt Hankins' house. But anyway. But Dylan was so generous, answered my questions, was so cool about letting me get in the ring. I got in the ring with Hold My Beer Hansen for a little while. He was helping me work some shit out that I've got going on in my head as far as a gimmick idea that I have and all this kind of shit. And Gary just giving me free reign to fucking wander around that building. And wander I did. I took full advantage of every fucking thing. Just know that. If I come to your show and you say, Steve, just fucking go anywhere you want, I'm going to go everywhere. And it's not just my duty as somebody who like talks about Georgia wrestling to do that. It's just me. I fucking love wrestling. Is that not fucking crystal clear? Let me say it again. I fucking love wrestling. I love being around it. Like I said, I was a cage tiger. I was fucking going here, going there, fucking talking to the guys. I mean, I was deferent. I would try to listen first, but fuck, when I had something to say, and people wanted me to fucking tell them. The commentators who are so fucking cool. So fucking cool. they were like, give it to us straight. But of course, their live commentary doesn't go over the PA system, so I haven't heard it yet. I'm going to have to watch the show back and hear their commentary. But I am going to take time and do that because they asked me to, and those guys are so fucking great. And I got their story of how they started doing it and all that. And of course, getting to meet Diana, so fucking awesome, so wonderful. She's fantastic, right? So, Gary, I cannot thank enough. I just want to, before I get into this P list, where I'll probably do it again, I want to thank Dylan and I want to thank Gary. Super gracious host, getting my hotel room in the area, to us going to fucking Waffle House after. I didn't fucking come out of pocket for anything. It's like everybody was paying for fucking everything, paying for my meals and all this shit. Really made me feel good. It's no secret that I'm like I'm a hustler when it comes to fucking money shit. So I'm just working my ass off and trying to make sure I can give my kids something of a Christmas too. And so believe me, everybody, your shit helped so much. And it made for just a wonderful fucking weekend. But really getting to work with the guys on their stand-ups, I think it was good to see too, because I think there's a perception of, yeah, but does Steve really know what he's talking about? Now, if you worked with me at PCW, you know good and goddamn well that I do. But for a lot of people, they might just think I'm just some dude who's, Stephen Platinum, he's got this, yeah, he's really prolific with videos that he puts out, but fuck, he doesn't fucking know anything. I think it's safe to say that anybody who worked with me or interacted with me or heard what I had to say about the show and will continue to hear what I have to say about the show when I send fucking Dylan and Gary my sort of overall take, which I'm not going to reveal here, and things that I noticed. But I think anybody who worked with me on the fucking stand-ups, if you don't, I'm sure all of them to a man and a woman would say, holy fucking shit, Steve knows his shit. It's because I know my shit. It's because, all the stories that you hear, like Tony Khan, Dylan, and like all of us were guys that booked shows when we were kids, right? Like fantasy booked and shit. But I've had the good fortune of literally doing just about every job you can do in professional wrestling. Announcer, commentator, wrestler, manager. And I would push myself to learn as much as I could and do all of them to the best of my ability. Trainer, booker, writer. Yeah. So getting to flex that a little bit was a lot of fucking fun for me. God, it makes me want to do it again. There's people in Florida who have talked about me getting involved in shows here, helping out and shit. I'm fucking inclined to say yes. I really love being a part of shit. That's the big takeaway. But what are some other takeaways? I don't know. Let's go to the commentary. And as we go to the commentary, let's go to this dope fucking P-list shit, courtesy of Trey Davis. Welcome to the P-list. Welcome to the P-list. Welcome to the P-list. Yeah. Now, if I did that right, the fucking P-list video played while I was singing underneath it. Yeah, let me write the time down to make sure I did that right. Cool. Top 10 impressions of the weekend in Georgia that I spent. Hopefully I don't fucking forget anything. But we're almost at the half-hour mark, and I'm getting into a fucking P-list, and I'm going to elaborate a little on this shit too. This video I was describing to a friend of mine as it's like the annuals that would come out in fucking comic books where it's like, this one's 35 cents because it's double-sized issue and la 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 la. Plus my kid wanted me to tweak an algorithm thing. You don't need to know that shit. Needless to say, this is officially a P-list as part of a full disclosure. Top 10 impressions and takeaways and things that happened to me on the Friday and Saturday that I spent in Georgia as far as wrestling goes. Number 10, funeral / memorial for C Block. I did a video about this guy, Tommy. He's somebody I worked with in Colorado. Great fucking guy. And they had a Zoom memorial thing for him on Sunday. So I had to sort of attend, quote unquote, while I was driving, which was harrowing. And then it didn't really hook up for it properly. It was Zoom shit. You know, I'm driving to Florida, so the fucking reception isn't great and all this shit. But even just the act of doing it, I mean, you want to put into finite fucking focus COVID and all the rest of it. Like, in one sense, now I've attended a funeral / memorial service and somebody's wedding via fucking Zoom in the last few months. That's bananas, right? That's crazy. It's also amazing in a sense that that's now a thing that can happen and in many ways has to happen. But it was definitely a poignant way to sort of cap off and end a weekend of wrestling stuff, was a sobering reminder that all of this ends, right? That even a guy who's younger than me and who's died, but was a part of my life exclusively because of pro wrestling. If not for pro wrestling, I would not have met that guy and had the privilege of meeting him. And he's the first guy who ever did a Lethal Litigator, Stephen Platinum, Steven Scarborough, anything as far as an action figure. And he made that Lethal Litigator figure. I would fucking give my eye teeth to get a hold of that thing. But I don't want to be that guy and press his family about it. But fuck, man, I would love to have that thing. Just so I could have a piece of him, really. And how great he is. And it sort of brought back into contact me with a number of people in the Colorado wrestling scene who I haven't talked to, in some cases, for 20 years. And so I owe him that as well. Fuck. God, I'm already getting emotional. That was number 10. Fuck. We're in for it, right? Whether it was ex-girlfriends who were also my valet, or whether it was the guys that I fucking worked for in Colorado. I think it was, you know, C-Block is one of those rare guys that nobody had anything bad to say about. I certainly know that won't be the case with me. But at the same time, C-Block left a really strong impression. I was very happy to attend that. And, you know, kudos to Miss Stiletto, a.k.a. Lauren Flynn, for giving me a heads up about the memorial via Zoom. That was certainly a way to cap off an incredible weekend. But that was only number 10. Oh, shit, I gotta let that shit fly. Some traditions have to be upheld. Ow, fuck, it actually came back and cut me. That's awesome. ICW, motherfucker. Hardcore shit. Maybe I ought to write these on gusset plates and just stick them in me. Bleed. By the way, I saw Southern Violence did a gusset plate. Ryan Murdoch took the gusset plate. Kudos. Kudos, sir. I also saw about 97 more gusset plates on fucking ICW. So fucking crazy. But I'm going to get to that. Number 9. Bangers only. This is the worst fucking name for a wrestling show this year. God, it's fucking terrible. It's so fucking awful. And I know you're saying, oh, you're picking on action. I'm just picking on this name because it's so fucking lame. It's like when I ironically, you know, to my kids, I go like, hey kids, that's lit. Am I right? It's so lit. And they fucking groan and they laugh because they know what I'm doing, which is it's an old person trying to sound like a young person. Or an unhip person trying to sound like a hip person. Bangers Only Fans is more like it because you fucking showed your ass with this fucking name. What a shit name. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting hearing how obsessed they were about what was going on at Southern Honor. Because I definitely heard some discussion about what was going on at Action from the guys at Southern Honor. So it's really interesting how people talk shit and sort of hear things that they create into rumors. Is it true that Southern Honor did this? And is it true that they did that? And half the shit wasn't true. But then half the shit I heard about the Action show, or questions that the boys would ask me about Action, weren't true at all either. And so I think it's really funny how there's this sort of uneasy thing, this sort of Cold War thing taking place, where people are like wanting to think the worst of the other. Yeah. Sorry, Action had a fucking good show from all accounts, though Bangers Only is shit. God, that fucking name is terrible. Why the fuck are they naming the show anyway? God, it's fucking terrible. Oh my God. Bangers Only became the running joke of the weekend. where whenever anything came up that you wanted to compliment, somebody would go, "Oh, that was banging," and then everybody would laugh and go, "Bangers only." A sure sign that that name is shit, right? But Larry's report about Action, especially the notes and his sort of side thoughts, I thought were spot on about like how Action, they wrapped up two of their big angles. And so they didn't really have a major thing this year. And so that's kind of shunted them off to the side as far as being perceived as a well-booked show. But there's no doubt that great matches still take place and having to keep their crowd, to 35. But, when reports came in that they didn't even hit the 35, that was definitely people going like, whoa. But then again, they're getting more for ticket. Anyway, getting to see Bangers Only is really just a way for me to talk about, one, how shitty that name is. I cannot emphasize that enough. But to also talk about like how Action is a viable part of the scene, right? They're still one of the big promotions, but COVID has really damaged them as well and hurt their perception. But perhaps when things are back to normal and they're back drawing 200 in that space and they can really get the creative juices flowing again, that we'll see them make a comeback. So really great. Bangers Only. Holy fucking shit. Number 8, ICW. So we got together at Hankins' place. And here's a reaction shot of here's a reaction shot of all of us, like so it's Hankins, his brother, Jeff G. Bailey, and Larry Goodman. And yes, you can imagine the fucking stories that were told, the jokes that were told, and all that kind of shit. It was fucking awesome. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was just so fucking great. And Hankins was such a fucking great host, and his brother was fucking awesome. And we just had a great time. But this was definitely during one of the like crazier spots in ICW. It was such a joy. And then to have our names called out by Ron Nemi on the fucking broadcast was fucking dope as shit. Definitely Jeff and I are pumped to go to ICW in January when they come back here to Florida. So it's just a great time. Ron suggested that we watch the pay-per-view because we couldn't really think of where we wanted to go Saturday. I wasn't really up to go to a wrestling show, and I wanted to see Larry. I wanted to see Hankins. I wanted to hang out with Jeff. So this was a much easier way to do it. Southern Violence almost won, but we decided at the end that we wanted to be in sort of a relaxed atmosphere where we could hang out, eat, and all that kind of good shit. And so we did the Hankins house, and ICW was a big part of it. And all of the wrestling. I mean, Hankins got multiple TVs set up. So we're watching fucking old school wrestling where they're just randomly showing old shit. So they showed like a fucking, Buddy Rogers match, and Buddy Rogers against motherfucking Haystacks Calhoun, and we're just watching all of this shit. National title match between Dusty Rhodes and fucking Tully Blanchard. So we just had a fucking great time and shot the shit, and I didn't get out of there till like fucking 4 a.m. And then I started going home. I drove until I got tired, then I stopped, stayed at a place, and then it fucking kept going. Insanity, right? Insanity. But anyway, ICW, a big part of our weekend, a lot of fun. So thank you, since he may listen to this, Ron Nemi, for fucking suggesting it. And we had a fucking great time. And we had a great time watching, fucking Nolan Edwards, right? Who's a guy I think a lot of. And John Wade Murdoch and the rest of the guys are so fucking great. So number 8, ICW. Number motherfucking 7, meeting Andrew Alexander at motherfucking Southern Honor. Jeff made it a point to introduce the two of us. And as soon as the two of us started talking, let me state this publicly if I haven't stated it before. One of my big regrets is never getting to see Empire do its thing. Whenever I could watch a thing, I watched a thing. Like when, as soon as they put up shit about like Tank's last match there, I watched all of it. And I fucking love Empire. Not that I could remember who was in charge, and I always gave Dylan Hales the person who was the money person when that wasn't right and all that. But I was really amazed with Andrew, right? Such a great booker, such a great survivor in the wrestling business, and a guy that I always heard a million stories of from the Wild Side days and all that shit. But getting to meet him face to face and getting to talk to him and just shooting the shit about what we liked and what we didn't like, and how Andrew, like, who were the guys that you knew were gonna fucking make it and who were TV ready. And but for him, it was Gunner and Gunner, by the way. And I would have a hard time arguing against that. Fucking Gunnar Miller. And, you know, me talking about Davey Richards and then him giving his opinion on Davey. Just us talking about the whole damn thing. It was super cool. Yeah, getting to connect with all of these people was definitely great. But I wanted to single out Andrew because it was so cool. And by the way, his fucking gimmick table where he was selling shit, best I've ever seen. Yeah, action figures. Yeah, a little wrestling memorabilia, but fucking 12 different kind of championship belts. What the fuck? Andrew is also a hustler and a hard fucking worker. And, you know, he makes money in fucking with real wrestling companies, but then he still fucking hustles on the weekend. Like, again, you know, that would be my dream as well, to have a job with one of the big fucking legit wrestling companies, but also keep the fucking hustle going. That's the hope anyway. Number 6, the boys. You know, if I start naming them, then I'm going to get in the trouble of forgetting somebody. But, you know, whether it was Owen Knight or seeing Joe and Huck in a totally different context. Realize the last time I saw those guys, I was booking them at PCW when I was still a part of PCW. So it was a very long fucking time ago, right? But seeing them or meeting Hold My Beer Hansen or, you know, Logan Chase, that was somebody who I was glad to fucking spend some time with. And seeing Cyrus, last time I saw Cyrus, he was kicking the shit out of me when Chip was doing his heel turn, okay? That's how long ago that shit was. And so to see him, this fucking confident fucking monster, and it was so cool. Getting to connect with Gunnar Miller again. Getting to meet the Lynches, of course, but really getting to connect with Gunnar again. And Gunnar's dad, who's the fucking one of the coolest white men on the planet. Like, all that shit was so fucking cool. But Very Morales, a guy that I've put over but never met. Now I've met him. And getting to work with him on his promo. Super great. Yeah. Seeing Corey Hollis again. And seeing what a great young man he is. And how fucking smart he is. When it comes to wrestling and otherwise. Chip and Kyle. What can you say? Austin Towers, David Ali, like just seeing those guys, really interacting with them. It was just great. Just getting to see the boys. And even like the production people or whatever. Getting to talk to Diana for a little while. Always a delight, right? It's a reminder. Like they probably got to see a side of me that they weren't expecting, even if they had worked with me at PCW, because I was really giddy. I told Dylan beforehand that he didn't have to be nervous or worry about me being there, because I was just going to be the happiest guy there. I was just determined to fucking talk to everybody, and I did exactly that. And I was just there to help. I wasn't there to fucking cross my arms and go like, I don't fucking like this shit or find something to be grumpy about. That wasn't my intent at all. My intent was to like, make the shit better and take it all in and really get a taste of what Southern Honor was and what made it special, what made it the show of the year or the promotion of the year last year, right? But the boys were a huge part of that. And even the guys that I interacted with, like through message, like the Southern Violence really made the bucked hard for me to come to that show, and I appreciate that so fucking much. That's why I keep bringing it up. And you know, fuck this. All this trip did was encourage me to make another at some point. I'm gonna have to figure that out. The boys. Number 5, Simon. Simon's sermon is the shit. There's something that I realized while I was having brunch with Simon and his husband. When I talk about where to get trained, QT's the obvious place. And I was sorry I didn't get to go to the Nightmare Factory either, but now looking at pictures, I could see why. Holy shit, Cody Rhodes showed up. They did their sort of graduating show on Sunday. I was trying to get in on any of that, mainly because I wanted to see the facility and meet QT face to face. But maybe I'm just going to have to go up to AEW to get that done. Maybe I'll go to their pay-per-view or something like that. I'll figure that part out. But shit, maybe I should go to AEW. Jacksonville's not all that far away from me. Let me just store that away. Dylan. Anyway. But Simon is a guy you should go get trained by. I'll just say it publicly. I think Hold My Beer Hansen should go to Simon. Simon trains guys, trains people. Like Jade worked with Simon. Jade, AEW Jade. Like, but more than that, the angles that he still continues to do, the conversations that we had about wrestling. You know, it always aggravates me a little bit when people say, well, I don't always see eye to eye with Stephen Platinum, but I always hate those. But that's how I feel about Simon. I don't think we see everything the same way, but it doesn't fucking matter because fundamentally we do. And it was so much fun to hang out with him. And we're really, there's lots of people I get along with in wrestling, but there's so very few that I would call actual like friends. Simon's one of those. And it was just so lovely to see him and to see how generous he is. He doesn't make, I'm going to embarrass him here. Fuck it. So, I mean, he goes to a food pantry and buys a bunch of food. They fill up his fucking big old car, his big old SUV. By the way, he's also got sweet other cars, but he's got a big old car. They fill it up, and then they donate most of that food to families that need it. Like, he's not a bullshitter. That guy cares about fucking people. And animals, for that fucking matter. And he's such a good person at the heart of it all. And Georgia Wrestling should be glad to have him. They need more of him. They need Jeff G. Bailey. Sorry to call you out, Jeff. They need these guys to continue to show people what the fuck is up. Because one takeaway that I had from this weekend that does worry me is I feel like there are the boys who erroneously think that they've got this shit figured out. And they appoint sort of foremen of their crew who they treat with more respect than they do the people actually running the shit. And if you want a thing to go to complete shit, then let the boys run it. Now, some would argue, well, but AEW, if you're trying to argue that AEW's that, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And by the way, the jury's still out anyway with AEW. Good and bad. But that's the only thing that I think could topple the more prestigious leagues in Georgia, is if the boys go into business for themselves, literally and figuratively. But Simon, such a valuable gem, such a fucking invaluable part of the Georgia wrestling scene, and a great guy, and a great friend, and going out of my way to see him was one of the smartest fucking things I did. Number 4, JT Talent. Look at this shit. That is the screen capture of me for my figure that's coming out. Look how good that shit already looks from the scan. But it's something that should have taken 5 or 10 minutes, and I ended up being there for a fucking couple hours because me and this guy have never met. But boy, did we get along. And boy, when people finally see what we're doing for the trophies now, which we're calling the Goodmans, dope as fuck. And let me put a bug in your guys' ear. Whoever wins Wrestler of the Year is going to get something extra fucking cool. Anyway, love JT Talent. Had never met him before, which seems unbelievable. You know, Talent and Money was a thing, and certainly I dealt with Pendleton on more than a few occasions with a different tag team thing, but never JT Talent. We just kind of never just, no matter how I booked at PCW, just JT Talent wasn't part of it, but I know him now, and I have a feeling me and this motherfucker are going to be friends, which for grown men can be very difficult to like make new friends, but I have a feeling he and I are going to be friends. Got along with him incredibly well. In the same way, like Gunnar Miller and I, who kind of get along reflexively, I think we connected as well. That part of the weekend was really cool, but I'll get into that later. But JT Talent, by the way, I'll try to remember to put a link up about that as well. I need to... JT Talent links. Um, you want to get a motherfucking figure made of you or whatever else? He showed me these ones he did of the Hollywood blondes that somebody bought. Austin and Pillman looked fucking awesome. You want motherfucking figures. This is your man. But to me personally, more importantly, fucking great dude, integral part of the Georgia wrestling scene, wants to give back. That's what I mean about guys like Simon, Jeff, JT Talent, Goodman, right? These are all guys that are giving back. Or just giving. Larry's done nothing but give, right? And I'm glad they're here. And Bill Barron's, right? And others. Todd continues to give. Sorry, I'm going to sit here and name 5 million people. But JD Talent, has it been your dream to have a fucking figure? Of course it has. Contact this motherfucker. Does great work. And plus the story of how he got into it, the conversations we had about our kids, all that shit, just so fucking cool. Like, I knew it would be cool to meet him, and I thought, oh, I'll go get scanned, and this will be a fun little thing. What I didn't know was I was going to meet a fucking guy that I'd want to be friends with and just have such a fucking great time there, too. All I did was have a great time, in case you didn't get that. Hanging with Jeff, Larry, and Hankins' brother. Fuck me. Let me put this picture up. Holy shit. What is this? This is Jeff holding court, ranting and raving. When Jeff got going after we watched the ICW thing, me, Hankins, and Hankins' brother, and fucking Larry when he was there. Larry was the first one to leave eventually. You know, he had to get out of there around 2 a.m. But fucking when Jeff started going off about shit and telling motherfucking stories and holding court and fucking telling me, this motherfucker said that, I said you motherfucker, and fucking blah blah. Holy shit, it ruled. It fucking ruled. I cannot describe what that's like. I know people have friends and all that shit, but God, I mean, Larry, I mean, it's all people who fucking love wrestling, who are an integral part of the fucking Georgia wrestling scene. I mean, fucking Hankins, what can you fucking say? He's practically booking 3 shows, officially booking 1. Manager of the year. But then more than that, just a guy who's fucking, you know, integral fucking part of the fucking scene. Went from sitting in the fucking crowd to losing 9 million pounds. Now he's fucking doing so much shit. Everybody fucking loves Hankins. Everybody respects Jeff. Everybody now knows how important Larry is. And having those 3 guys and then fucking Jeff ranting and Ray. Oh my God, it was fucking fun as shit. Hanging out with these guys. I could tell a million stories. They'll probably come out on Patreon. By the way, should you belong to my Patreon? Of course, motherfucker. Make that a New Year's resolution. And all you guys who've said, yeah, I really need to join that thing, just motherfucking click the link and fucking join. Give me $1 a month. I don't fucking care. I just like knowing that people appreciate what I'm doing as well. And that's one of the ways you can show you don't have to give me money, but certainly money works. Number 2, Southern Honor Gary, specifically. I already know I already talked about them at length, but getting to meet the commentators, getting to meet Dylan and really talk to Dylan, getting to get into a wrestling ring and fuck around. Getting to see Ox before he took the ring to action was fucking huge. It's why that's the thumbnail. Like, getting to see Ox was I should have known this weekend was going to be that great when I pull up and there's Ox, who's waiting around to fucking see me. Help Ox out, by the way. The boys, Rob Rod and Nick. Like, getting to fucking see Nick to me was so odd. I wish I could have seen Myron too. But getting to see Nick and shoot the shit with him and just talk to the boys before the show, during the show, after the show. And then going to fucking Waffle House with Gary and his friends and shooting the shit some more. And just, it was so much, man. Southern Honor could not have wished for better hosts. Especially Gary. Gary, what he does better than anybody is to facilitate others to do greatness. whether it's the boys, whether it's Dylan, whether it's production people, whether it's the people helping set shit up, whether it's the people running the concession. Gary is the best at organizing shit and putting people in a position where they can succeed and excel and contribute to the greater good of the project that he is doing and he is helming. He is not the motherfucker who's going to put up the chairs. He is not the motherfucker who's going to book the show. He is not the motherfucker who's going to watch a match and then go tell the boys what he thinks. He's the motherfucker that's going to make sure everything's the best. And then there are people there to see it and pay for it. That makes him invaluable. And it makes him the fucking most interesting promoter going. Sorry, I know that bothers people. Fuck you. And Gary treated me nothing but well. But more than that, it was just great to meet him. I hope he feels the same. Going to lunch with him was so much fucking fun. Going to Waffle House afterwards was so much fun. Just because it's just fucking not picking his brain. There was nothing mercenary about it. There was no kind of jockeying for position fucking alpha male bullshit happening. It was none of that. It was just two guys who were like, you know, just these two motherfuckers meeting each other who are, I guess it's safe to say, larger than life personalities, but who also relate to one another in multiple ways. You know, fathers, guys who've been up and down with fucking shit, and guys that people look to, and also guys that are very impassioned about what they do. You know, I plan on coming back when he's really running one of these fucking barbecue and brews things, because I want to see Gary in that element as well. I think he's fucking great. And he's the kind of guy that they write about after he's gone, and people will refer to when he's not around. He's that compelling and interesting and important of a figure. And I can't thank him enough. And Southern Honor. Really fucking cool to see. And the number one takeaway from this weekend as we approach the hour mark, holy balls, it's the overall generosity of people. Whether it's people who gave me stuff or paid for meals or just wanted some of my time or had conversations or were very just gracious. Everybody I met was really fucking gracious. And that's from the boys to everybody else. I felt like I was being indulged constantly. And even something as simple as, you know, Stiletto going like, here's a link to the service for C Block. I mean, I started with Ox waiting around for me so we can say hey to one another before he had to go take that ring to action. And then it ended with, you know, me driving home and attending a memorial service for a guy that I had wrestled and worked with. It's a lot. A lot of surprises. And a lot of expectations met and exceeded. And that was the main takeaway. And it was because of people's generosity, whether it was lending me an ear or saying something or teaching me something or just conversing with me. I tried to match people's generosity the best I could, but it was almost impossible because you just can't match the generosity, especially the people that I call friends or that I feel close to. I mean, you know, Hankins and Larry and Jeff and Simon in particular just went out my way. But meeting new people, Andrew, talent, yeah, to finally meeting people like Dylan or Gary or Diana or whomever. Right? Or seeing the guys that I knew from before and seeing how their wrestling IQ has gone up and their confidence and comfort. It was really fucking rewarding. I had a wonderful trip. I had a wonderful time. Were there more than 10 things I could have said? Yeah, but those were the top 10. And that's what I do with the P list, right? So I might have to do this son of a bitch again. But in any case, I know people really look forward to these motherfucking full disclosures. And they look forward to the P-lists. And you're getting both at once. So I need to throw some fucking shit in. And then I need to get to work and do more wrestling shit in fucking Clearwater. Whew. It's a lot. But I love it. And something else that I reconciled this weekend that was pretty big is pro wrestling's always going to be part of my shit. And I need to get serious about making sure that I get a real shot at making a living doing it. But I'm sure you'll hear more about that in the upcoming months and in 2021. This has been Full Disclosure and the Plist.